My Super W-6, my starter, I got trouble, and the starter's fine, but the terminal's bad underneath. So I've got to take it and get repaired. I'll pull the battery and battery box off first. This pot liquor here is turning, so I gotta get another wrench to back it up. Put the GoPro right, and then it won't just fall off. I think that this is my problem here. Part of it is the cable's too small and it got everything heating. I put a bigger battery cable on and it should be better. So unhook this. I'll use the terminals, but the cable is too light for this tractor. It just is. Yes, you best do the worst first, probably, and take the starter off. These are a 3-volt starter. A Super M, I think, is the same starter that a Stage 2 Super M uses. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. Whereas the W-6 and the regular Farmall M do not have the same starter. The W-6 uses a 3-volt starter, except for maybe the very first ones, and the M's use 2. I don't know why they didn't go just a 3-volt starter on a regular M2, but they didn't. There we go. It's off and ready to take in. You see my solder's on the battery plate out of this cable, and you see it melted out. That leads me to believe my cable's not heavy enough. And I think that is what caused the problem with my starter. All that was wrong with my starter was the terminal on top of the switch was melted and buggered up a bit. And the switch needed work and stuff, and he fixed that. He fixed the terminals and stuff on it, so I'm gonna try a heavier cable. I think that'll be better. If you solder on these cables, the ends are reusable when you do that. You just need to heat it up and the end should pull right out. The cable should just pull right out of the end. Just like so. The difference between this cable and this one, this is double the diameter, so it's definitely going to help. So now I'll heat this up. I think it should fit, and it will. It'll fit my leg. Yep, it will. So heat this up. Heat up some solder. After we got tight enough, I'll give it a little more. not quite happy with that. I'll put a little more solder in it. I like to have a little solder running out when I'm done so it's completely sealed. You see, I spilt some solder, which is a good thing. It's exactly what we want, so full to overflow. And the stuff cools off right away. So here's the pieces I spilt the solder. I can use them again. But here, this unsoldered right on, it's a good connection. I think there's nothing wrong with this. So I gotta take this connection off. Is that what, just like that other one, I could reuse this one too. My battery bolt though is starting to get bad. I'll have to, well, it's not bad, just rusty. So what I'll do is I'll heat this up. In fact, I have you work smarter rather than harder. I'm gonna bare this wire, this end of the wire first. Actually, I might just grab a short piece of loom for this. Little loom over the battery cable doesn't hurt a thing. Makes it just that much nicer. It's becoming loose. I just take the old. I guess cable's still good for something lighter duty, but I'll just keep this up good. Yeah, you can see the end of that way. What I'll do is I'll cut these apart and we'll squeeze them in and put them in the end and then melt the solder again. Just using the leftover bit to solder out the other one. I think that this is full enough. I'll just have to let it sit a while for it to cool off enough that, yeah, right there it's got to cool off, and these little stragglers, I'll nip them off on the side. These cables, I'll just nip them off. Now these bolts, these battery box bolts, they tend to rust pretty bad even though they're open and not on a blind hole, so I'm going to never seize these pretty good. Okay, we're back at the Super W-6. I gotta hook this up, but I got the battery on. But you see, my gas is dripping. I think it's leaking from the fuel tank. So before I put the battery in, I'm gonna fix the gas problem. I think it just needs thread sealant on it just needs sealant on the threads, and I think it should be okay. I think we'll try it. Nothing to lose. Okay, I had this track. I just tightened this a turn that seemed to dry everything up. So I had this tractor running good, and it ran, and it just quits all of a sudden sometimes. There's lots of gas to it, so I'm guessing the problem must be in the distributor. I might have a bad condenser, so we'll get that dealt with. I'll pull the coil wire right off, so this is out of the way good. Like points are good, it's just the condenser. They'll see if everything's tightened and proper, so. Everything seems tightened and proper in there, so I'll see if I could just, I got a new points and condenser set. I'll try that. What I've got to do is I'll turn the just turn the engine a little bit. A little more. Seems to be the happy spot. The point gap is fine. Pretty sure it may be a tiny bit wide, but it's not bad. Kit. I don't need the rotor. My rotor's fine. I'll change the condenser. The points are okay. There's nothing wrong with those points, so why did I change them? Screw is difficult to put in. So I got one of these, and you turn this, and you see it lines up. If you push it in, this tab in the middle turns. So it locks the screw and holds the screw into place when you put the condenser on. There you go, it started that easy, and then I just tighten it up. I'm not gonna change the points look just fine. So why did I change perfectly good points? I'll buy a few regular, just straight up condensers, and yeah, it should be fine. Now I gotta hook this up. Just roll this up. Try and get under these washers. There, let's start that there. I should have it under the flat, but I couldn't get it under the flat. Having it under the lock is fine. I've never had problems with them doing it that way. Okay, now I'll put this on. Put this And I'll put my rotor back on. It's a flat spot in here. The rotor could only go one way, so you don't have to worry about being lost. And I'll put the cap on. And plug this back in. There, I changed the condenser. I'll see if it runs better. If it keeps quitting, I don't think this condenser would be a problem, but if it fixes it, we know it is. Hook the negative up first because these are a positive ground system. Okay, I got the battery box on. How am I at for antifreeze? You can see with the GoPro, but I can't I got enough antifreeze, so I should be able to start this thing. And I'll turn the gas on. Okay, let's see if she'll start. Put the ignition on, choke it. There we go. My regulator isn't working properly. I just gotta ground the field to make it start. The generator starts. I better change that. As you can see, the seat on my Super W-6 is cracked, and that's not good. It's a safety issue, so we can weld it up, but I got a better one at the same sale Dad picked the 600 on. That's no good with that being that loose. This is in the center hole, so that's a pretty good setting for that. We'll leave it there. There we go. This seat is a nice original here. I'll put it on, like my seat post is wore out, so I gotta change this pin, but there's no point. Okay, I put some never sees on this here. I got a new nut for it too. The old one was rusty. Put this over here. This side's the big end, so you gotta go from the big end to the small end. There we go. Okay, gotta vice grip this and I'll zip it in. There we go. There, that's all in place. I think the middle hole is the best place for this. This only needs to be bent a little bit so it can't come out as straight before and it stayed in. So there, this is done. Next order of business is the seats right ahead. I'm over 6 feet tall. This sucks for me, so I've got to move the seat right back. You're actually less likely to twist them off with an impact than a wrench, you know that? Okay, I got these all nice and clean. I'm pretty sure you're gonna guess what I'm gonna do next. There we go. It's gonna make this tractor a lot more comfortable for me to run it. She's tight. The impact tightens things pretty good, even on the next lowest setting. Well, God bless you all. See you in the next video. You guys all have a good one. Bye for now.